No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. Welcome to the Parlay Pursuit. Happy New Year. It's 2025. Here we are to break down. If you saw last week's episode, we gave you our early predictions for Dern versus Hebas 2. So go watch that episode, top to bottom, main card and prelims. There have been two changes to this week's return of the UFC. One, Preston Parsons is no longer fighting the guy he was going to fight. He's fighting someone else. So we'll review that one. We'll go through any changes we have. But most importantly, Nurilo Alev is not fighting Yanel Ajmus anymore. He has a new opponent, and his new opponent is a friend of the show, three-time Triple P Fighter of the Year award winning Joe Solecki, our homeboy, coming on the show in just 5 minutes to talk about taking this fight on 1 week's notice, taking on the undefeated Tajiki fighter, Nurilo Alev. Joe Solecki coming on the show to talk it over. So we're going to have a really cool exclusive, a Triple P exclusive with Joe Solecki in just a few minutes. And then we're going to get into UFC 311 because we already broke down Dern versus Hebas 2. So we'll just hop in early. We'll give you early looks at UFC 311. All mixed up. Don't know what to do. You guys get that? 311? You guys 311 heads?
No.
Not a big fan. Not a big fan myself.
Okay.
All I know is red wine. That's all I got.
That's SB40 or something. That's UB40. That's
no,
UB40.
what?
It's not 311.
That's 311. I'm looking.
Red wine is UB40 or something. It is not 311. I mean, maybe they covered it. It's very possible that they covered it. It's in their, it's in their wheelhouse for sure. They're kind of like, ska punk.
You guys are thinking of Jimmy Buffett. He sings Red Wine.
No. Rest in peace to Jimmy Buffett. So listen, UFC 311, huge stacked card. We're going to get through Dern versus Hebas 2. We already gave our breakdown for that whole card. We'll touch on the changes. We'll talk with Joe. He's in Vegas, locked and loaded, still going to give us some of his time. The ever generous Joe Solecki. And in the meantime, how have your weekends been, guys? We had some NFL playoffs. We had the Jets versus the Dolphins. We had the Lions versus the Vikings. What's your, after the dust is settled going into wild card weekend, what are your NFL kind of quick hits here? How was your weekend, Dan?
The Lions are a team of destiny. Weekend sucked. I think the Lions are a team of destiny. I think, you could put, me at nickel, Luke at the corner, Alex at the other corner. Doesn't matter how many injuries they have on their defense. The Lions are a team of destiny. They're going to get it done. The way they just totally smoked out the Vikings. And again, the entire defense decimated, but that offense is humming. They still got that white guy with long blonde hair playing linebacker. All they need is that guy and the offense that they've had all year, and they'll be cruising to the Super Bowl. So that's my hot take.
Super hot. The number one seed in the NFC wins the NFC. That's a really hot take.
The team with the most wins is going to win the Super Bowl. Hot take. Scorching.
I mean, I'll tell you what. The Chiefs, you take away three of their players, and they're a paper tiger. I mean, is it really all about Mahomes, Pacheco, and Kelsey? I mean, that's I really thought with Carson Wentz they would put up more of a fight.
Nah, I mean, it just goes to show how good Patrick Mahomes really is. Like, how bad they got beat by the Broncos this game in comparison to, the very, very close games they won this season. I think they're like 10-2 in one-score games this year or something of that nature. So it just goes to show how great Pat Mahomes actually is. You can't just throw anybody in there and them have success.
Yeah, and, a team, I think, obviously, so what's the deal with Hurts? Is Hurts going to get back in? Is he going to be playing?
I think so.
You think? Okay, because I think...
Pretty sure.
It's going to be rusted up.
Yeah. And then, other than the Eagles, the Lions, the Chiefs, I mean, the Bills, that was like criminal negligence what they did out there against the Pats. I mean, you had a whole stadium of Pats fans cheering for the Bills, and they couldn't get it done. They played their second string quarterback. He was doing great. They were up with him, and then dumbass Bill Belichick, the head coach of the Bills, decides to change to the third string quarterback. That guy didn't complete a pass all game except for the team. I mean, he was garbage. You had a whole stadium of Pats fans literally cheering for the Bills to win, and the Bills just blow it. I mean, busted up my parlays. I thought the Bills. I thought the Bills would beat the Pats. I didn't. I mean, but somebody actually put it to me like this. They were like, do you think these players care about getting the number 1 draft pick? He's like, imagine you're on the team. You really want them to draft your replacement?
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
In many such cases. So that actually changed my perspective. But how about this? I think that there should be just like we have UFC bonuses. I think the NFL should give a bonus to teams that cover the spread.
Well, what's interesting, it's not really like that, but each team's owner puts in incentives for individual players, like benchmarks to reach. And then, you see like, oh, this guy he only needed 1 more rushing yard, and he would have made $500,000, and he didn't get it. So I think that's what's interesting. The Cowboys backup quarterback, he only needed to start the last game of the season, and he would have made $500,000. And Jerry Jones was like, nah, we're going with the third string this game, even though it didn't mean anything. Like, he could have just been generous. And then after the game, he's like, I didn't know about that incentive that I put in play.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that there should, like, what I'm sick of is teams that are down not running a play with 40 seconds left on the clock and just electing to let the clock run out and lose the game. Like, I think that there needs to be something in place to keep everybody playing until the bell. Like, you gotta, it's like, just to take a knee, just to like concede defeat, like that. I just think that, it's very hard to watch this, sport that is supposed to be very like alpha male. And here's another hot take about football. Why don't teams start playing in a rushed manner earlier instead of waiting every time until there's 2 minutes left and they have 3 timeouts, and that's when they want to hurry up and call timeouts? Like, how about this? Think about how you're going to wish you had more time. Like, because think about this. If you get close, like I'll give you an example. Like, all right, let's say
because you guys don't know ball.
No, listen. Let's say you're down by, you're down 16 going into the fourth quarter. So the fourth quarter starts, you're down 16. Now let's say time goes by, the score remains the same, and there's 8 minutes left, or there's 5 minutes left, right? Teams are still like playing like, oh, we got plenty of time. They're not rushing to the line. They're not like trying to hurry up and get. And then when 2 minutes comes around, now all of a sudden they're rushing. It's like, if you just had a little bit more hitch in your giddy up when there was 5 minutes left, now at this point, you'd be down 1 touchdown or whatever it is, and you'd have 3 minutes on the clock instead of 2. You know what I mean? It's like, they value the time so much. It's 1 point in the game, but then they don't value it at another point in the game. It's like, it's all the same time. It all comes from the same bucket. We'll get into that later, because right now we got somebody whose time is of the essence, somebody whose clock is ticking, and we're going to bring him in right now. Joe Solecki, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
What's up, guys? Is it sideways better? I think that's better, right? I'm messing everybody up.
You're good.
You're
There's
good.
one in every group.
That's better. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. All right, now we're there. What's up, guys? How are we?
Doing pretty
Good,
well.
man.
Alex, how are you? We didn't even get to you yet. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm good. I'm a lot better now that Joe's here. I'm more worried about how you're doing, taking this fight on very short notice. Tough guy. How are you feeling going into this fight week? A little different than usual.
Yeah. I mean, for sure, but yes and no. You know what I mean? Like, we kind of knew short notice was going to be the thing. So then, what's the best way to make short notice not short notice? Is to hop in a camp and go as hard as you can for as long as possible. So that's kind of what we did. So really, I mean, I've been training like I had a fight for over 4 months, because we had a couple short notice come and go out from under us. So, the first one, then you go, okay, I better get to camp. And then after that, now you're like, okay, I hope a fight comes soon because, you can only do that for so long. So, obviously short notice with the opponent. We didn't know this fight was going to be on the horizon. But as far as preparation, it feels like a lot of other fight weeks,
So you say that you knew it was going to be short notice for a while. Talk to us about that. Why did you have that feeling? Because my question was going to be, how did this come together? Obviously somebody who probably a lot of lightweights are saying no to. He's undefeated, not a lot of tape on him, one fight in the UFC, not a lot of common opponents in terms of parity. So when you got the call, was it Hunter Campbell who called you? Because I'm in sales for a living, and I want to know, how did he sell this to you? But you say you already kind of knew it was going to be short notice. So talk to us about what's been behind the scenes here.
None of that. I mean, I think, again, I'm like the 15th in the chain of command, so my conversations with matchmakers are non-existent really, or even being like CC'd in emails. Like I'm not in those situations. So I can speculate on stuff sometimes, but I know that we had one short notice offer in September for like that Salt Lake City card the first weekend of October. And that was like, okay, so it's going to be short notice then if, when the call comes. So didn't happen, said yes. Another one that we thought was going to happen, and then it was like the week of. So we were like, hey, can we get like a little time just for the wait? And he was like, yeah, I can push it. Nothing. And then was in camp since that first time. So what was that? The second week or first week of September. So I've been going ever since. And then Tuesday, woke up, had my phone on Do Not Disturb, was sleeping, woke up, took my phone off Do Not Disturb, had two missed calls, I think, from my coach, and then a text that said, call me, please. And then I saw above the text that it was Aliyev's Tapology. So right away I put two and two together. And I follow the especially waiting for a fight and seeing who's matched up and are they going to call? Am I going to get a camp? What's going on? I kind of am familiar with who's fighting when, at least in my weight class. So like I knew it was this date right away. So that was when we thought it might be a thing. I think, Scott Holtzman manages me. He works for Rubenstein or with Rubenstein, Danny Rubenstein. So I think he got wind of the opponent falling out. It's one of his guys. So he was like, hey, I think I can get this for Joe. What do we think? And we were like, my coach right away was like, yeah, I love that fight. Let's do it. So he called me, and that was the first thing I said. And then that was it. Normal training day. It was, the same schedule we keep. Ever since we thought we were going to have a short notice fight, we've had a fight camp schedule. So nothing really changed other than the weight, because I've probably been keeping my weight at a point that I would keep, a little further out because you can't stay too low too long. I think that's, energy will dip and be a little more injury prone. But other than that, that was the only thing.
So you said,
and then Saturday, and then we heard nothing for like 4 days. And then Saturday got the text again, first thing in the morning, which that's a shot of adrenaline, that we should be getting a contract soon. So then Saturday was when we knew, like, all right, it's actually happening.
So you said October, Salt Lake City. Am I to believe now, doing the math on that card, it was Movsar Voilev?
No, because he's a 45er.
Oh, right. Well, you thought it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. So
no, Hubbard, but we already fought, and I think the brass kind of forgot that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, they have one job, and they forgot. But so we said yes to that. We're like, yeah, for sure. And he's like, oh, we forgot that it was kind of a one-sided thing, so we're not going to do that. But then that was when it was like, all right, like, it'll probably. I think he said like, yeah, we'll get him something, but it'll probably be short notice. So, that it's easy for me to do because I love to train. I'm always training hard. The only things we change in camp are the conditioning and the amount of times we spar hard a week in the cage. So, just kept those up, and that's pretty much it.
So, Joe, it seems like, you've been training for the same amount that you would train for a fight in which you would know your opponent. Do you prefer this kind of situation where you don't know the guy for the vast majority of your training camp? Or are you one of those guys where you like to look at the film, know your opponent? Or are you one of those guys that says, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting, I need to be training like for myself so I can be at my best?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question because I think both have their pros and maybe cons. But, ultimately, I feel like it's kind of nice because you're not like thinking about this person for 3 months. I've had fights 4 months out before, 16 weeks. It's a long time to think about someone. I'd rather think about the work. The only thing that was a little annoying about not having any opponent was like, are they gonna call it all? Am I just gonna do this? How long am I gonna go into a camp and go blindly. Like we did it during COVID, but that was 5 years ago, So, and I was my second fight in the UFC. So you're like not privy to getting noticed and all that anyway. So you're not accustomed to it. So that was a little bit annoying, But aside from that, I kind of liked it because it was just worrying about myself. And then, the little spikes of like, it might be this guy. Oh, never mind. It might be that guy. Okay, never mind. So it wasn't without it was interesting for sure. And then getting the notice here, it's like, it's enough time to formulate a game plan for sure. My coach is on top of it. He stays on top of it all the time. He watches more fights than anybody I know. I was familiar with him because I fought on the same card as him last time he fought. And then I'll probably study a little bit tomorrow. Like I'd rather, again, when we signed the fight Saturday, so it's like, I just want to focus on me, get my sparring done. We know what the game plan is. My coach had already watched him all week. And then tomorrow, maybe I'll watch in depth and then I'll probably put it to bed and just go out there and be me, I kind of like that. It reminds me of a tournament in jiu-jitsu, like just all the same emotions of play. The only difference is you're not maybe anticipating. I think that's one of the worst things we could do is just go out there and what's this guy going to do? And when's he going to do that thing I watch? You watch too much, start thinking about it too long, it starts to make you tighten up a little bit.
100% understand. I mean, even from high school wrestling, I remember loving competing, but hating the moments before, just waiting. Waiting to find out where you are in the lineup. Like if you're wrestling first, if you're wrestling last, trying to time being warmed up and trying to peak, or even something as stupid as a lot of people who wrestled or did any kind of competition will probably relate to this. It's like thinking like, did I go to the bathroom in enough? Just trying to be like, all right, like, am I gonna have to take a shit before this match? Like I need to make sure, just try to time out work. And obviously once it starts, you don't even think about any of that, but just like overthinking it of like, all right, am I good? Like, is my stomach all right? Is my all that. So
exactly. That's exactly it. And the thing is like the closer you get, or the more, not desperate, but the more bare bones things get, the more it's just simplified. You know what I mean? Like after the last fight, we really didn't hear much as far as, when like all of a sudden I'm seeing guys get booked. I think Dawson will be fighting a second time, the weekend after this. So it's like, man, like, okay, I have 4 fights, but there's also that little clause that says they don't have to honor that. You know what I mean? So like, am I going to go all this time and then not be invited back? That might not be good. So like at that point, it's almost just grateful. You're just grateful. I'm just excited to be, I'm ready to go. Like, yeah, you say the word, I'll fly out there on a plane tomorrow, So it kind of boils it back to the essence of competition. And you feel like you're playing with house money a little bit. So it's an exciting thing. And now maybe if I wasn't training like that and I was a guy that was going to be out being lazy or not doing the work, then maybe there would be a sense of like, oh crap, but it wasn't that. I've been training, we were laughing because like Weidman had 2 fights come and go because, he got delayed and stuff and he's in our camp and he's like, bro, it's so funny. Like, and like every time we were at his fight weeks, he'd be like, yeah, this guy's still in camp. Like he's been in camp for like 5 months, so it's like, I've just been going. So it's like, yeah, it's just kind of a relief to finally have something, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because like you fought once in 2023, or no, sorry, yeah, once in 2023, December you fought Jakar Close, and then sorry,
I fought February and December, and then I fought again in June. So like 3 times in a, but yeah, you're exactly right. Twice in 2023, and then.
No, what I meant was you fought once in 2024.
Exactly.
Yeah, so now my understanding of the UFC is like, okay, you have a set amount of fights that, and this is literally based on Chael Sonnen's YouTube channel, like that is him doing inside baseball, explaining contracts, and he's like, no, obviously Chael, take him with a grain of salt, tends to exaggerate sometimes, but in his explanation of like how UFC contracts work, it's like, okay, they have to give you 3 fights a year. That's a liability they have on the books. They owe you 3 fights a year, and if they don't offer you 3 fights a year, they got to pay you for the fight that they didn't offer you. They got to, you're expecting a certain amount of income. Unless he says, of course, you turn a fight down that they do offer you, and then in which case he gets kicked. Then it's kind of like the chess match of like, hey, we're gonna offer, you this guy, like when what comes to mind, like Nate Diaz, they offer him Hamzat Chimaev, he accepted that, but it's like a fight that like you obviously like a fight they kind of maybe know you're gonna say no to if you're like big star value, bad stylistic matchup, and then all of a sudden they go, okay, cool, ice him. We'll just ice him until he starts. And then then he'll take the next fight we offer him or whatever. So in your situation, you fought once in 2024. I don't understand how that equates to then you being told, yeah, we'll get you something on short notice. It seems to me like they owe you a fight at that point.
Well, I think, I think it's 4 fights in 20 months from the first fight on your contract. And that was the first fight on the contract. So
Okay, so 20 months.
We're only 1 year into that, So, but also, I think coming off 2 losses, you know what I mean. I think it's kind of just a known fact. 2 in a row, you're going to be, you're going to do what you're told, and you're going to take it. So, we kind of knew that, so that was kind of nice. As soon as they said short notice, it was a no-brainer just to get into a camp and stay ready, and that's more enjoyable for me than trying to keep it in like second gear or whatever the term would be. I think it's second gear. I don't know, cars.
See,
but
I don't see, because I mean, you got guys like Tony Ferguson. I mean, get it. Tony's a big star and everything. He's got like 7 losses in a row, or whatever it is. And I look at you as somebody who you fought Jim Miller on ABC. You fought you did a grappling match with Cowboy Cerrone. You're always somebody they look to, I feel like, for these, like, your face is on the poster of a Fight Pass grappling event or something like that. You fought Grant Dawson, who's ranked number 15 in your last fight. So to me, I don't see you as a guy who's on the chopping block with 2 losses. I throw the Jakar Close fight out. I mean, that was a outlier situation. And then the Grant Dawson fight, close decision, top 15 guy.
Yeah, I think maybe excitement is a factor, because I think there's been some stretches before where I might go 10, like I think after the Miller fight, I went like 10 months without anything, and managers don't clue you in as much, which kind of sucks, that's why having Scott is so good, because he'll just shoot me straight and be like, okay, they said it's going to be a short notice one. I think a lot of guys won't shoot you straight. I've made comments before to other guys I had managing me and being like, oh, that was a boring fight. That's probably why they're not calling it. Like, no, of course not. I'd rather be shot straight. You know what I mean? So, the truth hurts, but a lie kills, right? So, I don't really know. They didn't really – I think they just have so many guys to get fights. And, you have so many new talented guys coming off Contender Series that are making a fraction of the rest. So, it only makes sense to try to get them on there first and see what they're going to be. So, I mean, it's nothing you take personal. Just when you get these opportunities, you got to run with them. You know what I mean? And I think that's what we did. I think it's awesome. You know what I mean? I'm especially getting right out of the gate in the beginning of the year is just a fantastic opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I do see you as a UFC company man. I do see you as somebody who, like, you've taken fights on short notice yourself. Benoit Saint Denis falls out. You fought Carl Deaton, a week later, new opponent. You're always willing to.
That was one of the first times in the insights to and that was kind of here, knowing like the notice is not going to be, like short notice for some people think is like 5 weeks. We kind of figured it was going to be like this because. Even with that, I didn't have an opponent that Monday, I think, for the Saturday fight. And then it got to the point where I was like talking to my manager at the time, was like, I'm not getting on a flight tomorrow without an opponent. He's like, oh, this is just how things work, And then somehow they push it to the next weekend, which usually doesn't happen. So that was kind of the insight into like, oh yeah, the show's going to go on with or without you. You can poop or get off the pot here. So I will be happy to poop.
Yeah. Well, so you ordered some food, you said. Did you do Uber Eats?
Yeah, we DoorDash something, and then we got a bunch of groceries earlier, but couldn't get in the room, so I didn't get the protein stuff, so I had to order some chicken.
Yeah, because Joe messaged me before the show. He's like, "I'm gonna be a couple minutes late. I got food coming. And my first thought was, you're in Vegas, and I mean, I've gotten Uber Eats in Vegas. I've gotten Uber Eats all over the country, and there's a lot of Uber Eats drivers, DoorDash drivers that are attached to Stanny. And I'm just wondering if, like, did your wife maybe order? Like, I don't want you to get poisoned.
That's a good question. I didn't think about that. They're a very loyal bunch. I'll tell you that. Just from I knew that because I think I said that to my wife. I was like, yeah, I think this guy's probably. I said I'm willing to bet you he's got like 250,000 followers. Like I didn't like stalk his page. I don't really do that anymore. I used to, but I clicked and I was like 600,000. I'm like, yeah, this guy's a celebrity where he's from. But I set up my Instagram where like. Only people who follow me could like comment and stuff. Cause I knew it was gonna be a whirlwind the second it got announced. So like friends, students from the gym and stuff were getting like harassed on social media. I was laughing. I'm like, dude, they're a loyal bunch, man. We could American fans could learn something from them. But yeah, we'll see. It's Monday, so
we'll go harass some Tajikistani folks for you. Like we'll go harass them. Like that's not a problem. We can, guys. If you're watching this right now and you're an American Triple P fan, you got to go find some random Tajikistani people.
I was like, man, maybe I have to go like full Chael Sonnen mode. I don't even know. We were rehearsing at the house, messing around, but yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see people so passionate, man. And this is cool. Like I said, maybe this is the first time I walk out like a flag or something. Like it is cool to think about the concept of like. Somebody from across the world coming over, you're coming from where you're from, you meeting, it's just a really cool concept of the sport too. So, but yeah, man, they're a passionate bunch. I'll tell you that. But it's Monday, so it's worth it. I'm so hungry. It'll be worth it to eat that food, even if there's something in it, because it's not like the flu game. We got till Saturday, so I'll be good. If anything, the flu will help me lose a couple pounds. So we can use everything we got over here.
All right, well, I just typed in on ChatGPT, Chael Sonnen style roast of Tajikistani fighters. Go ahead and do that yourself. I think that you'll get some good insights. I mean, you could maybe, Norillo, while I was in America, playing on computers, this guy was in Tajikistan, milking a goat. I don't know, something along those lines. I think.
All I know is New Jersey has Sopranos. I can't be intimidated by a place that I don't even know where it's at. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure if you knew where it was, it'd be a very intimidating place. But I don't, because I'm an idiot and I don't have geography down. So,
but I did just get back from Newark, and I got to say, I think I'd rather be in Tajikistan than Newark. Guys, I don't want to take up all the time. You got any questions for Joe? Anything that I haven't said? I mean, there's the lightweight title picture. We got UFC 311 coming up. We're actually going to break down the whole card. You got Islam versus Arman. What are your thoughts about that fight? Because actually, last time I think you were on the show, or maybe the time before last, it was Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green, and we all were talking about that fight, and kind of Grant was a huge favorite going in that fight, and we were like, kind of swayed by you, because at the end you were like, wait, you know what? Bobby Green actually, and then Bobby goes out there and smokes him. I mean, so. I feel like you got kind of a good insight, and I got my own opinion about this main event, but I'd love to get your thoughts.
It's hard to pull against Islam. I really, honestly, for how much of a fight fan I am, I've been so head up my own tail lately because of just the stress of staying ready. You know what I mean? I haven't really paid much mind to it. It's next week, or this weekend and the next weekend. So, I mean, without really thinking about it much, I think just the easy pick is Islam, right? I know it was a close fight the first time and all that, but he's been so dominant and done so well with every style. I mean, even if you watch the Poirier fight, I think there's a shock factor when you watch these guys that never really look human, and it's even remotely close. Like, I don't know that it was that close. Like, he was outstriking him a lot of the fight, and I love Poirier, but he was doing great. He was winning every round. It was just Poirier was hanging in there, so we're grading it on a curve almost. So it's hard to pick against that guy right now, man. I think he's fantastic. So I would probably pick him. But yeah, this is just a bad job of keeping up with everything, especially with the break and the holidays and the whole nine. And yeah, it's been hard to. I forgot it was next weekend, honestly.
How was your Christmas? You have a somewhat new child in the mix now. You got a boy and a girl now, right? Yeah,
we got a 4-year-old girl, and my son is like a year and a half almost, or maybe right at a year and a half. So
I feel like it was just yesterday that I saw pictures of you.
Yes, you're telling me, bro. You're telling me it's crazy. It's awesome. It's very cool. It stinks that time's going by so fast, but it's also a blessing because they're healthy and they're happy, and it's very cool. Gosh, it makes it harder to leave. I'll tell you that, because now my daughter's like, she kind of knows what's going on a little bit. She's 4, so she's like, excited to hang out with her grandparents, but kind of sad about me leaving and stuff. She starts to feel that little guilt. And my son's just a wild man. He just wants to go destroy something. So he's a goer, man. He is all go, and shoot, that's what we were like. The last fight, he was still a baby. I mean, it was June. It was 7 months ago. He came to the fight. He stayed in my wife's arms, rode in the airplane. There is not a chance in heck he's doing that right now. God help all those people in the airplane. I don't think we could bring him to the Apex without him. He comes to the gym every night. My wife works at the gym. So, like, every night he's walking onto the mats or into the cage. Like, there's a good chance that he would have made it to the Apex. He would have made his way to the cage, and that is terrifying. So, for the other guy, not for him. He's not for him.
You know he's gonna do jiu-jitsu then. Like, you're already in your mind. You're like, he's definitely into all this. Like,
I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. But it would be cool. But you know what? Whatever they do, I'm just gonna become I'm just gonna try to learn all about that. You know what I mean? So I can meet him in the middle. But I mean, I'd be lying if I said that wouldn't be cool. My daughter's doing judo at the gym, which is all. We have a great kids judo program, and her idea. She bought it. She did soccer. Did not want to do it. She said she wanted to do it. Then she did it. She did not like it. And then she kind of left kicking and screaming. I was like, I am never going back to that. And then one day she was just like, I'm going to do judo. And I was like, well, I think we started at 5 years old. She's like, no, I'm going to do it. I think it's okay. And I was like, well, listen, I'm like, we're not doing what we did at soccer if you go here, because this is daddy's work. Like, this is where we go every night. Like, if I call, Uncle Jeff and Seki, the coach, the owner and coach, I'm like, and ask for them to let a 4-year-old in, like, you have to go do your best. And dude, she is loving it. Now she talks crap to me and tells me that she can throw me and she can throw people better than me. And all of that's true, because I can't do judo worth a lick. And it's pretty funny. So, and I'll say stuff around the house. Like, of course I can do that. I'm a black belt, And then she'll be like, and I'm a white belt. I'm like, it's not it's not really a brag, So, it's fun, man. All short, long answer, but it's fun, and the holidays are fun with them too because you get to see them. It's nice. You get to work like an animal, and then come like Christmas Day. I was running crazy hill sprints after they open their presents, and I'm right back. I get to like zone out and be dad again. So it's kind of nice. The balance is it's awesome.
Yeah, I know what you mean about leaving. Like I recently tried to leave for a night out for my brother's 21st birthday, and my daughter was like, I don't want you to go. And I'm like,
you're like, all right, I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm like, and what? I mean, I wasn't going to, make money and do what you're doing. I was just going to, take my little brother to a casino. So I was like, completely like, damn, I'm the worst dad ever. But
yeah, I went because Wyman was doing his camps at our gym. He's doing our camps. So, and I got to be a part of both. It was one long camp because they extended the fight, but I got to be a part of it. And so I went to both fight leagues. I felt like, oh man, because one of the things was like, I want to go be close by in case somebody falls out of a fight.
Right.
Like I have my eyes on the, well, not Jim Miller again because I wouldn't know able to see that again. But like if Miller got out and James Jackson needed someone, or the next time was Hooper and Guido, I'm like, dude, all these make sense, And I want to stay with my coach so we can keep training and support Wyman. So like 2 out of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, I was gone. Oh man, I felt like a turd. And it was for work, but still, it was just like, oh man. You have any fun, you're like, oh, I feel guilty. But yeah, she tried to give me $4 cash when I was packing last night out of her wallet. It was like, I want you to have a good time. And I was like, well, no, please. Like, I'm going to make money. This is my job. She's like, no, please take that. Like, I'm like, listen, no, like, I appreciate it. But like, that's my job. You save your money. I'm like, also, I don't be rude, but $4 is not going to get me very far. So
that is a very Italian woman thing to do right there. That is like your grandma, like, just take it. Just take it. Better to give with warm hands. Yeah. Well, okay. So, wait, I just was going to ask you one last question. Fuck. I can't remember what it was going to be. I literally had a great question to ask.
Might it be the triangulation of Eric Anders on our show, big time fan of the show? We got Joe here, who we know is the supportive of Chris. There's there's some trouble in paradise here. You want to break that down?
No, dude, that was I mean, it sucks. That sucked to have to watch your friend go through, but.
What do you tell? Sorry to interrupt, but what do you tell Chris here? Like, are you telling him to hang it up? Are you one of those guys?
No, that's not anybody's job. No, he's the man. And here's the thing: is like, he's an animal, dude. Like, you watch him in training or the shakeouts, like on any night, that guy's beating anybody in the world. Like, because I think the problem is, like, he's always been confident, so people just take when he says it with a grain of salt. Like, I sat in the shakeouts and we're like I was, sitting there like in disbelief of like how hard he's cracking, how good he's moving, and the leg heel. Like, he's dude. And here's the thing. Here's the other thing people don't get it right on, and this is what drives me nuts. Is like, this is how we feed our families. So it's like, not to get all like high and mighty, like, people should shut their mouth, but like, kinda, you know what I mean? Like, just by like, man, like, you go until they don't have you anymore. I feel like, and especially when you can still like, dude, he's still super sharp. It's just fighting, like, and that's what. I was saying to my buddy that was there because he's fighting, but he's a little newer to fighting. And he was like, man, I want to place bets. I want to do this, that, even though we would never bet fights because that is frowned upon. But he's like, aren't you going to? I was like, well, first of all, no, because it's illegal. But second of all, I'm like, no, fighting's nuts. At the highest level, it's nuts. Like at the lower levels, I think the better guy a lot of times is going to get it done because of the skill gap. But at this level, man, it's grains of salt. Like, one guy wakes up feeling good, and that's the difference between who wins and loses that night. So, and I think it's hard for people. We were having that conversation earlier. Like, people will watch, the NFL and be like, how did the team that's the worst in the league beat that other team? Well, because they're still elite professionals. And today, this high-level quarterback was on, even though he doesn't have good players around him, so they can beat the best team. Like, it's just how it goes. And I think that's kind of the situation there. It's just, fighting at the highest level is unpredictable and nuts.
I completely agree with you. Sorry, Alex, go ahead.
You are mentioning that it is a game of inches. Have you ever thought about shaving the mustache off to get the bonus points that the Dagestanis get when they come into these fights?
It's not a bad idea. We just got to talk my wife into it.
Yeah, because they might get confused. The judges might get confused. And, because, there has been a big Dagestani buy. I don't know if you saw, who was it? Carlos Leo versus the guy who fought Kevin Lee.
But I believe it. But
so there's been a
about that. You'd have to ask her.
Not Fakhretdinov. That's what I'm thinking of. That where it's pretty clear loss.
Oh, yeah. I read about that, actually. I didn't see it, but yes.
So,
Yeah, I mean, we just have to talk to Casey. I could be Solecki Manov or however it would go. I don't know what the last name would be. But I don't think she would like it. And gosh, I've had this beard so long now. I think it's 4 or 5 years. Like, I might be so pale under there. It might be, oh my gosh, I would look ridiculous. So, you have to talk to her.
yeah, I think the beard and the fade is the move. I've seen when I was looking up the pictures. When I was trying, when I was comparing Joe Solecki. Anyway, I found a very similar resemblance to Joe Solecki and Luigi Mangione. I don't know if you guys have seen that. So I wish I could. I was trying to find it in my phone to pull it up, but I had to find one with like Joe, looking just right. I'll put it on my Instagram later, but it's so. The thing I was going to say that I remember. So this guy, when I look at his topology, right, 2 knockout wins, 7 decision wins, no submission wins at all. You look at your record, very similar. 1 knockout win, except instead of decisions, you got 6 submission win, or I'm sorry, 8. Sorry,
I think it's like 8 or 9. Yeah, because I had to do it for my application the other day. I never even thought about it. It asked me how many wins by finish. I'm like, why does the commission need to know this? And I had to go back and count, like on my own topology. I was like, oh, I didn't realize I finished.
That is weird that they would ask you that. That is very weird. Anyway, so I see this fight as it's won and lost with 2 things: the grappling, and meaning like the minute winning, and the surprise factor. You're a brand new opponent, so how do you go in here and shock his system and give him, because the most powerful element in Sun Tzu's Art of War is the element of surprise. The element of surprise is in Sun Tzu's Art of War. What he lists as the most powerful element is the element of surprise. So, Chael Sonnen says, the great Chael Sonnen, he says, fights are won and lost when you find yourself surprised in a fight, where you find yourself in a fight harder than you thought it was going to be.
I love the balls on my mouth.
So, I don't think he's on the mobile. Joe was able to see that drop. There's a Chael Sonnen clip. But anyway, so I think, have you ever seen the movie Gattaca? Okay. If you're bored this fight week, you're cutting weight, you need some time to heal, throw on the movie. Throw on the movie Gattaca. Basically, there's a scene in this movie. The movie's about like these 2 twins. They're the exact same. They're clones. They're the exact same genetically as each other, right? And I see this as kind of a mirror match in a lot of ways, but not like exactly the style, but just sort of the ways that you guys win, things like that. So the 2 twins are equal in every way, but one of the brothers, when they swim against each other, the one always wins. Okay. And he asks him, he says, how do you win? How do you beat me, even though we're the exact same? And he says, it's simple. I never save anything for the swim back. So I feel like go out there and fucking put a pace on this guy instantly and never stop. And like you said, you're playing with house money. It's like, if you get tired, you get tired. It's a short notice fight. But I think what's more likely to happen is you hit him with the element of surprise. He gets tired. You're winning minutes. He's fighting from behind. And Joe Solecki is just an underdog this weekend. That's my pick. Triple P certified Joe Solecki.
Yeah, I love it. I didn't even know the odds or anything. I really kind of don't want to know. I figured I'd be an underdog just because it's short notice,
Well, he was a giant favorite against Ashmus. He was, already he was minus 500.
There's a lot of hype. But I think
he's less of a favorite now. But he was a minus 500, 5-1 favorite against.
Yeah, I did see that.
We thought was insane. We thought Ashmus versus Sky. This should be a pick'em fight, especially because Ashmus has a lot more UFC experience. And
yeah, I didn't know anything about that guy, but I just think I'm just gonna let it fly. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of danger. You got to cross the gap. You got to not get hit. You got to not get backed up. You got to not get, hurt. And him, you know what I mean? He has to do all that. And then if you take me down, you're putting me in scenarios where I'm probably more dangerous than even on the feet. So, I think there's a lot of problems I pose, and I think that's kind of what I do, is to go out there and not really hesitate. There's been fights like the last one. There's a really awkward timing and stuff, so it ends up being a weird, like, he's a guy, you miss time, and I never understood watching the film how he just got everybody down in one try, you know? And then the timing was like, oh, okay, I see it. Like, it was goofy timing. But, and not a knock on Grant, but we were talking about it maybe yesterday. I was like, as soon as he grabbed me, I was like, oh, yeah, I can grapple with this guy. I never found my way back on top or on his feet or on my feet, but never felt like threatened, you know? That's what kind of sucked being down there. But that's the top of the division, top of the food chain. Like, I don't think anybody's going to grab me where you know, I'm sure, like, he grabbed me. I was like, oh, he's good, but I can grapple with this guy. And I think I've just trained with so many of the best guys in the world that are bigger and stronger that it's never going to be unnerving or surprising. You know what I mean? Like, I always go in expecting them to feel like the Chris Weidmans of the world, the John Salters, et cetera, but at 55. So when you prepare for that, it's kind of like you said, you know, the surprise element is the worst thing. But I really prepare for that. You know what I mean? All my training partners are 170, 185, like, I don't have any guys I get to spar with that are my weight like that. So, and all of them are very good grapplers, college wrestlers and stuff. So, you know, we had the right looks almost, you know, by accident because, you know, most of my teammates are really accomplished wrestlers in college and stuff. So, love the matchup, and, you know, coming off the last one, working on so many different things to right the wrongs from, you know, the takedown battle. So, love the opportunity to right the wrongs there and just go out and let them fly.
Hell yeah. Do not let it get in your head. I know that a lot of, like, especially ever since Muhammad Makhachev got cut and he came out and he said, the UFC told me that they don't want grapplers. They don't like my style. It's boring. And then obviously he was a nightmare to work with apparently behind the scenes. Like,
I think that was more the issue.
For sure. But he did come out in a press conference and say that he was told,
Yeah.
you know, so I think that's bullshit. It's mixed martial arts.
Oh, I care less.
From a gambling perspective, I love nothing more than a guy who wants to win fucking minutes and go out there and just take a guy down, smother him. You know, to me, that's like amazing to watch. Like,
Absolutely. That's pure domination. You know what I mean? Of course, you want to let him fly too. You want to chip on the ground, of course, and you want, you know, but sometimes styles make fights and you got to just completely control a guy. That's the thing is like, that's what, like, even with the last fight, we guys had, you know, friends and family always don't know what to say, so they want to say the wrong thing. You're like, dude, I've held people down for 15 minutes. And I would do it every time if I could. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be mad at it. What are you going to say negative about that? That's pretty dominating. You know what I mean? So, yeah, dude, I will win at all costs. That's what it comes down to. That's always the game plan.
Yeah, the number one thing is you get out of a fight relatively unscathed and you don't get finished. It's like that. You got to defend yourself at all times, protect yourself at all times. That's number 1 and 2. Like, number 3 is you fight to come out on the offensive side ahead. But it's like, my opinion is when I see a guy go in there and get choked out in the first round in jiu-jitsu in less than 5 minutes, a lot of the time I'm like, dude, you weren't even equipped to defend yourself for 5 minutes. Like, you're in the UFC and you're getting finished in round 1 with a submission. It's like, where's your jiu-jitsu at coming into the UFC if you are getting tapped out in 5 minutes? I mean, like, there's guys who don't do this for a living that are fighting harder in some cases than some guys that just seemingly.
Yeah, I think the submission game, the groundwork is overlooked by a lot of people, especially guys that come in and you got so much to learn so quick that, you know, if you're athletic or have a good wrestling background, you get away with a lot where you don't need to know that much. But then every now and then it catches up with you, and then you see it like that where you're like, oh man, like that was all the wrong things. But and that's the thing is, like, my style I think is a nightmare for a lot of guys like that because it's a very every box is checked on the ground type style. Like, there's not a lot of gaps. So that's the thing. You go out there and I just do what I've been doing my entire life, and in the competing sense and in the grappling sense, and I think that's enough.
Let's fucking go. Joe, you've given us more than enough time. I know it's fight week. You're busy. You got shit to do, people to see. And War Joe Solecki, War Eagles.
Yes, sir.
Let's go Birds. Let's go, Joe.
That's
Guys,
it.
any parting words?
Joe, you're the man. Thanks for giving us your time, and best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Man, Joe. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
guys, take care. Good talking with you guys.
Of course,
Thanks.
always.
Always great
Thank you
seeing
so
you.
much.
Yeah, have a good
We're
night.
not kicking you out. We just wanted to, be
We're not
respectful.
kicking you out.
I didn't realize it'd been 45 minutes and I'm out here talking everything about fucking Christmas and kids and all that, fucking wasting his time. Like no other over here, but.
Oh my god!
Talking about fucking movies, Gattaca, like. I'm like, what am I
No,
doing?
we get some time this week. Yeah, wait.
What do you? I should have made you piss your pants and been like, Joe. Also, have you ever seen The Prestige? And then just next time we have Joe or any other fighter on the show, let's see how long we can talk. Like, and like TV
About nonsense.
Yo, speaking of, I just watched. So my wife was upstairs watching this show that her parents tipped her off to, from their day, right? A show that came out in like late 70s and went for 13 years into like early 90s before any of us were born, right? The show is called Dallas.
Oh, who shot JR?
Bro, that's so funny you say that because her dad says, he goes, yeah, and then like we're on like season 1, and he's like, yeah, remember? He says to his wife, he's like, yeah, remember the climax when JR got shot, and Brooke, my wife's like, what the fuck, Dad? Like, why would you say that? Like, she's like, you see me watching the show, like, why would you throw that spoiler out there? But I don't think, as long as you don't, I've heard that before. Who shot JR? I've heard that like referenced in other.
That's all I know. That's all. I know.
Right, yeah. But I'll tell you what. Dude, I am hooked on Dallas. Like,
Woo!
It is one of the best shows I've ever fucking seen. Like, it is so good. It is like Game of Thrones level good.
Where do I go to watch?
I don't know where she was watching it. It was on Hulu or something. I think Hulu. Dude, you gotta watch it. It is so good. Like, I couldn't look away. I had my phone. I was sitting on the couch with my daughter. I got my phone, got my headphones, and I'm watching like UFC content on my YouTube content. But I just kept like taking my.
Oh shit, bro! Macy Chiasson has a fight in like 5 weeks. What are we doing?
We got to get Macy on the show.
All right,
we got to get Macy on the show. I would give her a Fighter of the Year last year.
Do you think I struck a nerve when I asked about Chris Weidman?
That was rude. That was just simply rude.
But, dude, I mean,
well, listen. No, shut up. He should tell him to hang it up. I don't care. Good night, bad night. He was held down on the ground for a whole round by Eric Anders, getting the piss beat out of him. He had no chance of getting up, and he's a grappler, and he had no chance of getting up. So yes, and listen, I get, this is the way of you're feeding your family. He was a champion for multiple fights. He should have invested the money, and he could use his fame and his stardom. What? You can't be a gym teacher? You could be a gym teacher, be perfectly fine. Okay, and that's very bare minimum. He could do so much more than just that. He'll be fine financially, I'm sure.
Weidman's on the fucking weigh-ins show. He's gonna have a career in media after
yes.
He had a 30 for 30 documentary. Like, he's got a lot of other.
We're talking about families. You are best suited to serve your family by quitting now because you're in your 40s. You're getting brain damage. You got plenty of money, I'm assuming, and if not, you have plenty of money coming your way vis-a-vis the media and your investments and whatever the hell else, coaching. So. I'm sorry, Joe, but you'd be better off serving as a friend to tell Chris to hang it up.
I think all he needs to tell him is that he chews gum in an annoying way. Chris Weidman, he's always like, yeah, huh?
Well, it's also like this, right? It's like when you are losing it's one thing to lose a fight. You know what I mean? Anything can happen in a fight. But when you're an All-American, you're Chris All-American Weidman because you're an All-American wrestler, and you're getting taken down by a guy who's your age, never wrestled, you know what I mean? Then it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, and that's what my same.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, seriously.
What are we doing here? But also, Michael Chandler. Like, I think somebody else said this recently. They were like, Michael Chandler is getting taken down 5 out of 5 rounds by Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. Michael Chandler wrestled at the collegiate level. Like, you're making wrestlers worldwide look bad. You're making it look like wrestling in the United States is a fucking joke when you go out there and get taken down 5 out of 5 rounds to Charles Oliveira. You know what I mean? And furthermore, I pulled up the UFC rankings before Joe came on here to like just see like where, just to get a glimpse at the lightweight title picture and like the road, the lightweight road. They got Beneil Dariush ranked number 9 or something at lightweight, or like 6.
Yeah.
He hasn't fought since 2023. He's on back-to-back losses. Yeah. Okay. They got Chandler ranked 13. Chandler's beaten Dan Hooker and Tony Ferguson. That's it. So what the hell is up with these rankings? Like, he's got Chandler has 2 UFC wins. He's ranked 13 at lightweight.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy to me.
Rankings are pretty shit.
And Max Holloway was ranked like 4th at lightweight. He has 1 win over Justin Gaethje, who is, by the way, ranked 3rd.
Doesn't make sense.
What the fuck? Joel, and meanwhile, John Silva right? John Silva, who we know how good this guy is. He's like 23rd. It's like, what? Joel Alvarez is 10. It's like, okay, I think Joel Alvarez beats Chandler, Dariush, and Gaethje in the same fucking night.
Yeah.
Like, anyway. All right, we got a card to break down, guys. Harass college style prank the Tajik.
Very light, very fun.
Very light, college style. That's the other thing I want to ask Joe is, do you think your fight's actually going to be first of the night? Because it's like, why the fuck is Joe Solecki fighting first prelim fight? Honestly, this is the writing. This is the quiet.
When it comes down to the Apex, though, who the fuck cares? I would rather. Yeah, I would rather just fight at first and get the fuck out of there.
But it's a Hespec thing. It's a Hespec thing. And honestly, maybe it is a Hespec thing in that first fight of the night, they want people tuning in to watch the first fight of the night. So, but here's my thing. We got to get Joe's manager the fuck out of here, dude. Like, he is not. Like,
his manager is Scott Hot Sauce Holtzman
or Danny Rubenstein, I think is what he said, right? Or
you guys are rude. You guys are rude, Joe.
I don't know.
Thank
All
you
I'm
for
saying
your
is
time.
Joe's like, I'm the 15th in the chain of command. It's like, dude, honestly, that might be the problem here. Like, maybe I think Joe should be like talking to the fucking matchmaker. A lot of these fighters would do better just talking to the fucking matchmakers, especially when the answer is going to be yes no matter what anyway. If you're the type of fighter who just says yes and does your job and shows up like Joe, like a lot of these fighters, then you be the one to pick up the phone and talk to them and say yes and develop that rapport and shit. You know what I mean? It's like he's out here not even hearing like what's being said. I don't like that. I think that's kind of fucked up.
It's like the owner of the football team that meddles in the football operations instead of the coach. Like the coach to be the one that's making these decisions on player personnel and all that good stuff. The fighter who knows, their strength.
But Danny's Jets have a 16-year-old hotshot running the show, telling his dad not to get guys because they don't have a high enough fucking Madden overall.
Exactly.
That's the disarray you come from, and you're trying to tell people how to be managed over here. All you know is disarray.
The fighter, especially someone like Joe, who's like watching all the fights, like he's a big fan. He knows who he matches up best against. So yeah, I totally agree, Luke.
Yeah, and I mean, furthermore, it's like, if I'm Joe Solecki's manager, I'm saying like, I'm bringing up like, yo, you got a guy who's saying yes all the fucking time. You got a guy who's in the mix with like wins over Austin Hubbard, wins over Jim Miller, grappling matches against Donald Cerrone. Like, whenever you come into contact with a big name veteran like that, you get a little bit of a boost, right? Like a little bit of star power, a little bit of name notoriety, shit like that, right? So my thing is like, where is the reciprocation for somebody who steps up and takes these fights, like doesn't complain, is a workhorse, fights on big cards? Like when he fought Grant Dawson, that was on the Makhachev versus Poirier card. It's like a lot of eyeballs have been on Joe Solecki, and there should be some. I think that people should take notice in terms of the matchmakers and not try to. I mean, like one fight last year, and then they're saying, "Oh yeah, we'll try to get him something on short notice." What the fuck? Try to give me something on short notice? You got me one fight last year. How about book me against what happened to Benoit Saint Denis? Give me Benoit fucking Saint Denis again. Like, give me some of these fucking names. Give me a fucking, I don't know.
I agree. I'm with you. Represent yourself, Joe. Always bet on yourself.
That's a fact. You should always bet on yourself, Baba.
All right, so are we hopping into the pay-per-view card, or are we going over the slight change in this weekend's January 11th?
Yeah, first I'm taking Solecki. He's got to stay off his back. He can't concede guard. That's the way he's going to be able to win this fight. I'm going Joe Solecki by submission.
I'm going to go with Aliev. I didn't appreciate.
You're obnoxious. You are a rude guy. You are a bad person.
I didn't appreciate the way that Joe spoke down to me when I was trying to be a good guy and preserve the brain cells of Chris Weidman. But I'm the bad guy, so I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the minus 500 favorite here in Mr. Aliev.
I'm going with Joe Solecki. I think that, like I said, if this was Joe Solecki getting served up to John Silva on short notice, if this was Joe Solecki facing like somebody with extreme knockout, knockout power, who like is a UFC darling, who like we know, okay, the UFC's trying to keep this train rolling with this guy, that'd be one thing, right? Then I might sit here and go, all right, I'll give you a perfect example. Andre Petrovsky versus Michelle Pereira. Even Joe Piper on the fucking podcast is like, I don't know. Like even Petrovsky's best friends are like, he's going to fucking get beat. Like, what the fuck is he doing taking this fight on short notice? This is crazy. You know what I mean? That is a situation where even if I was Andre Petrovsky's best friend, I'd be like, no, I'm absolutely confident he gets smoked out short notice. You don't take fights against guys like this on short notice. You know what I mean? But I think this is going to be a y'all must have forgot type moment. Joe has 8 fights in the UFC. This guy has 1 fight in the UFC. His biggest win in the UFC is against 20-11 Rafael Alves. Okay, Rafael Alves, who's been submitted 6 times. Rafael Alves, who's been knocked out 4 times. Rafael Alves, who's 1-3 in the UFC and has only managed to beat has only managed to beat Mark Jacase. Gets fucked up by Drew Dober, gets fucked up by Demiraz Magulov. Granted, Rafael Alves had an insane knockout against James Vick. Now, James Vick also most recently got knocked out by a shopping cart that went astray at Walmart. So, like, this guy gets knocked out by a fucking a light breeze. Knocks. No offense, James Vick. No offense. It's nothing to fucking laugh at.
Offense.
No. I like James Vick. No offense. But anyway, it's like I'm not scared of this guy. You know what I mean? He's 9-0. He's doesn't have any fights against. I mean, his opponent's combined record is like, nothing to write home about. And I'm not scared of this guy. They were gonna have this guy fight Mateus Rebecki. They were gonna have this guy fight Yanel Ajmus. Now he's got Joe Solecki. This guy's got no submission wins at all.
And Joe's got the steam coming out of his ears. He's been sidelined just training his butt off for the last 4 months. Are you kidding me?
And if Joe watches Gattaca and he doesn't save anything for the swim back, he goes out there, jab, 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 takedown attempt, jab, jab, takedown attempt. Joe's got to put the pressure on him from the start. He's got to get some takedowns. He's got to get on top of him. He's got to smother him, not let him breathe. And I think that we can come away with a win here.
All right. Next, we got Jacoby Smith versus Pressure Preston Parsons. I am going to emphatically switch my pick from Pressure Preston Parsons to Jacoby Smith, the Oklahoma State Buckeye himself. Or not Buckeye, Cowboy himself. He's going to go out there. He's going to fuck Pressure Parsons up. I mean, Pressure Parsons really relies on the pressure, the wrestling, all that. He's not going to get shit on Jacoby Smith. Jacoby Smith was a great college wrestler. I think he was like 150-10 in high school, Luke. Pretty nutty record there. Jacoby Smith is going to do, and I think he won Fargo too, if I'm not mistaken.
He wrestled for Oklahoma State University and 174 pound weight class.
That's not what I said, but yeah, I know. I already mentioned all that, Luke, but thank you, appreciate it. Jacoby Smith knockout, short notice. He's from a great team. He's very well rounded, and I think he goes out there and gets a knockout.
He was a 3-time state champ in Oklahoma.
Bro, I just said he was like 150-10.
He was 182-5 in high school.
Yeah.
182-5 in high school.
Beautiful.
I mean, like, the best wrestlers in our high school got 100 wins. And we were like, fuck. We put their name on a banner in the gym for 100 wins. He has 182 wins in Oklahoma, a state known for its wrestling.
Sign me up. I'll go with Jacob Smith. I didn't know the backstory. Now I do. I thought that the minus 500 price tag for him was a little iffy, but now knowing his story, it seems pretty legit. So, Yeah, I'll ride with that.
DC got him on the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series, and I believe he did really well. He got a knockout, but somebody else got the contract, and I don't think Jacoby got one that night. But he is coming in on short notice. Great to see it.
You got a knockout?
I think he got a knockout. I think he got a second round finish, I believe, on the Contender Series.
He did. He finished in round 2, ground and pound against Kristen Savoy.
Sweet. Guys, I got some good news. We got some new tech here. We've got some new tech here. I've got the fights right in front of me. You see this, Dan? What do you know about this? What do you know about an iPad right here? I got all the fights right here, right in front of me. My notes right here. Don't have to sacrifice either of the two things. I've got it all. Right in front of me. What say you?
Yeah, Jacoby Smith, 79 and 23 in college, 3-time NCAA qualifier, Big 12 championship, where he earned several podium finishes at the Big 12, and he also was an All-American. I'm going with Jacoby Smith. Triple B certified Jacoby Smith. And that's the thing. He's finished all of his fights almost, and I kind of thought when I saw those knockouts, I'm like, cool, we got a striker coming in against pressure Preston Parsons. Parsons will probably be able to avoid kind of similar, but no, it's not. It's not on the feet that he's knocking these guys out. It's with ground and pound. And I think that if homeboy from Wales, that pressure Preston Parsons just fought,
Oban Elliott.
If Oban Elliott can lock up with Parsons and nullify him grappling in the grappling department, Jacoby Smith will get him down with ease. And yeah, very different stylistic matchup for Parsons. He was going in there against a bludgeoning kind of striker guy. So Jacoby Smith, I think he gets it done. And I want to see what the odds are in this one real quick. So, oh, wow. We went from getting pressure Preston Parsons as a slight underdog, Triple B certified, to now him being plus 280 to Jacoby's minus 350. Strike while the iron's hot. I think this line moves even further. That's what they tend to do. I mean, we got Fatima Klein at minus 1,000 at this point in some books. So, like, what do you think this one's going to fucking go at? Cool. All right. So, Triple B certified Smith and 2 out of 3 on Solecki, the underdog. And, yeah.
All right.
I've talked so much shit on Chris Weidman. It's crazy that that's how you know Joe doesn't watch our show.
How about you talking shit on Joe Solecki the last time he was even brought up?
Talk shit on Joe Solecki.
Oh, but you said he quit. He said you quit in there.
I didn't say he quit. He said himself.
So, when Joe was saying when I locked up with Grant Dawson, I thought, hey, he's really not that much better for grappler than me. I was about to chime in and say, that's funny because Luke said during that matchup that you quit. So I don't know if you were.
I said he didn't try to get up.
He didn't try to
hard
get up.
enough to get up.
That's coding for quit, I think.
I don't know what I said, but here's the thing. I was very upset, and at the end of the day, I mean,
you guys are rude. You guys are obnoxious. You guys, we let this guest in our house, and you shit on him all the time.
I do not. I do not shit on Joe Solecki ever.
All right. Are we doing 311 or what? Are we doing 311? This is some live production here.
We can. Why don't we just? You want to wait? You want to do it? It's 14 points. You want to just knock it out or what?
It's your call.
If we're doing it rapid fire. A little bit.
All right, we'll do it rapid fire. We'll come back next Monday and we'll give it another look.
Fine tooth comb.
This is just from the hip. UFC 311. Tajiro Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. 15-2 Tajiro Ulanbekov. 8-0 Clayton Carpenter. Clayton Carpenter coming off of a submission win against Lucas Rocha. Before that, a submission win against Juan Camilo Rondaros. 28 years old versus 33 years old. 5-year age gap. Similar height. Clayton Carpenter sacrificing 4 inches of reach. We know Tagir is very long. Tagir is pretty much spotless in the UFC except a decision loss to Tim Elliott, which he was crying like a bitch about, constantly crying. Oh, he's grabbing my gloves. He's poking my eyes. Blah, 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 blah. He fought in the amateurs, Sharaputin Magomedov, not who's pretty good. he lost to him too. I want to point that out. But other than that, we're looking at a guy who has a win again. You know who Tagir Ulanbekov is, guys. He's Khabib's buddy from down the fucking road. But he did just lose a grappling match to Jussier Formiga. Hasn't fought since December of 2023, over a year ago, to Cody Durden, where he beat Cody Durden. But Cody escaped several chokes. This is going to be an interesting one, man. I mean, will Clayton Carpenter get submitted by Tagir Ulanbekov? Very hard for me to fire the hip on this one. It's one that I kind of am like, I don't know. Clayton Carpenter.
I agree. Clayton Carpenter by sub. Tagir Ulanbekov is a bitch. I hate him. I think he sucks. And I think Carpenter is a little bit of a nasty boy. I think he's going to go out there, make it gritty, make Tagir Ulanbekov cry. That's a prediction. Lock it down at plus 800 odds. Tagir Ulanbekov cries during this fight. Clayton Carpenter whoops his ass. Dan, what do you think?
Triple P certified Clayton Carpenter, not by submission, though. I'm going to go with decision here. I think he gets it done. I think he's significantly overlooked. And I think we're just going off the fact that this is a Russian guy with a really solid record, and that's why, we're giving him his flowers. But give the flowers to the Carpenter. Jesus was a carpenter, and Clayton's going to get the job done at UFC 311.
Plus 215 underdog, Clayton Carpenter. So, love it.
Beautiful.
Triple P certified Clayton Carpenter. Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Man, Diego Ferreira is 40 years old. They got him ranked 29. They got him ranked
19.
19. Grant Dawson's ranked 15. It's like, when are they going to give Grant Dawson somebody ahead of him in the rankings? Like, this guy's constantly getting served up. Like,
They love this guy, Grant Dawson. They love this Grant Dawson.
Grant Dawson, dude. They fucking love Grant Dawson.
Grant Dawson, Joe Solecki, such similar styles. Why does Joe Solecki have to fight short notice and this Grant Dawson, he gets the world's his oyster?
Yeah. So I think, Grant Dawson, he's going to win here. It's a 40-year-old 155er. Yeah, he knocked out Mateus Rebecki. That's fucking amazing. Yeah, he knocked out Michael Johnson. That's also amazing. But he's honestly,
he could knock out fucking Grant Dawson as well.
He's Grant Dawson the fuck out, honestly. I don't know. No, I'm going to go with Grant Dawson. Grant
Dawson is chinnable, but I'm not going to bet that he gets chinned. I think Ferreira's 40 years old. He's an old man. I think Dawson's going to put it on him. Dawson's going to be able to get it done. Not the easiest matchup for him stylistically, but it's still a serve up job. It's a harder serve up job than it could possibly be. They could give him, Jim Miller or something, but I still think this is a serve up job.
Yeah, some of those Vieira knockouts were a little bit fugazi in my books. Where we're talking spinning back fists and weird things of that nature. I'm gonna keep this one simple here. Go with Grant Dawson. Diego is, as these guys have said already, 40 years old. This is a young man's game. Grant Dawson is, he's primed up and ready to roll here. So give us Grant Dawson, Triple P certified.
Let me take this one away first, Luke.
Grant Dawson minus 325 favorite, Triple P certified. Grant Dawson, second Triple P certified pick of the night. Ricky Tercios versus Bernardo Sopaj. I'm going with Bernardo Sopaj.
I literally just said, let me take this one away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said, Luke, take this one away first. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, my gosh, dude. You don't hear anything. You don't listen. You don't say a word. Come on. Think on your feet. I actually thought the next one was Sadisticus Dumas.
You don't even want to do this one.
But I do want to do this one anyway because I have to take a piss really, really bad.
Sadisticus Dumas isn't even on this card.
Yeah, he is, dumbass. Yeah, he is.
No,
he's fighting Zach Reese. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah, he is. Okay, sorry.
Oh my gosh, bro. You don't know ball. Get out of here. Okay, Ricky Turquoise versus Bernardo Sopaj. I really do want to take Sopaj in this one, but I feel like whenever I take a guy just because he had a really good effort in a loss, he never, ever, ever fights as well in the next fight. And I was doing a deep dive in Sopaj's history, and I think that he might struggle a little bit with grapplers. This guy, Ricky Turquoise, He's a good grappler. All he needs to do is make sure that he's not sitting there on his back, in missionary for 3 straight rounds, and then you'll be in great shape. But I think this is going to be a close fight if Bernardo Sopaj can recreate the magic he had in that Veniscus Oliveira fight, because I think he was winning that fight before he got knocked down or knocked out with the flying knee, or at least, representing himself really well. But whenever I bet on guys who do that and losses in their next fight, it always burns me. So I'm not going to do it this time. I'll be right back, boys. I got to urinate. Unless no one else is here. I'll riff.
We're all here. This is a fight. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
This is a fight I really hate. I hate Ricky Tercios, however you want to say. It just feels like I'm probably going to be on the wrong side either way I go here. In my mind, I'm like, all right, this guy's kind of a subpar fighter. Mostly everyone in the UFC should have their way with him. At the other hand, I'm thinking, well, he did make it all the way to the top of the Ultimate Fighter. Did he win the Ultimate Fighter, or was he just runner-up?
I think he won. I think he beat Brady Heistand for the Ultimate Fighter.
That's right. He did beat Brady Heistand. I'm going to go against my brain here and go with my gut. I'm going to go with Ricky Turquoise. I think he's coming off of a couple of losses here. I think this is a he is due situation. And I think we're underrating him a little bit. People have had their jokes, the kiak karate sounds during that one fight, and, very little action going on. I don't know. I just think he gets it done. I think Sopaj is, I don't know. They're close enough that Ricky will get it done. Just a gut feeling.
Here's my thing, right? Ricky Turquoise, in my opinion, is held on with duct tape and sticks. Bubblegum, duct tape, and sticks. Like, he doesn't have the physicality. He doesn't have the top control, the minute winning, the fight IQ, right? He's very Diaz style, fight to win your own battle in your own mind, right? He goes in every fight, fighting demons in his own head, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so many bad things to point to. It's one of those things where it's like, well, then he's definitely going to win. There's too many red flags for him to lose. Yeah.
Honestly, I get what you're saying. It's kind of like the Jets this past weekend.
Yeah, but then every time you think that they're going to win because you think you have that squared away, it's like, oh, they're definitely going to lose. Therefore, they're going to win. Then they lose, and it's just it's mind-numbing. It's torture.
Dude, you know how bad it was for me to lose money betting on the Dolphins as underdogs against the Jets when I hate Mike McStudy, I hate Mike McDaniel, I hate him so fucking much. And also knowing the stat that they never win when it's cold out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And just watching that game, dude, at one point my wife looks at me, she goes, "You didn't bet on the Dolphins, did you?" And I was like, I did. I did bet on the Dolphins. And I was like, solo bet too. And I was like, I just was like, no, I lied to her face. I was like, no. She's like, yeah, because they never win when it's cold. And you told me.
Even she knew that? Even she knew that?
I told her that. Weeks prior, she remembered it. And they flashed a stat on the screen like it's 40 degrees out today or whatever. And she's like, yeah, they never fucking win when it's cold. I was like, yeah, you're right. And then they proceeded to just lose the most pathetic, humiliating loss I've ever seen in my life to fucking Old Man River. It's so annoying seeing Aaron Rodgers. I mean, on paper, you'd think I would love him, right? Denied the back, stood on business, on the friends with Joe Rogan, psychedelic warrior out there doing fucking ayahuasca. You would think, like, this is Luke's favorite football player. I don't know why. I can't stand the motherfucker. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Yeah, he's well, first of all, he didn't stand on business with the vax. He lied. He danced around it. He was like, I'm immunized. Like, motherfucker, we all know, like, the coding here. Just be a man and say, no, I'm not vaxxed. But no.
Well, no, he didn't want to play the reporter's tricky little 2020 game where they were like, me, you know. Anyway, I like it. All right, Aaron, I stand with you. You're fine. But for some reason, his face, he has an unlikable face, you know?
Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah. So anyway.
Aaron Rodgers is a loser.
I was saying Ricky Turquoise held together with fucking, with with sticks and bubble gum. Like, this guy is not hardy enough to scratch any sort of meaningful level of the UFC, in my opinion. He caught Brady Heinz before Brady found that cycle that he fucking on now. You know what I mean?
I don't know.
And this asshole.
I mean, Brady is beefy Brady now. So I think if they rematch, he loses. And anyway, I'm going with Sopaj.
All right.
All-Star Training Center, maybe. They beat Alpha Male. All right. Peyton Talbot versus Honi Baloney. Honi Barcelones. Peyton Talbot, an unbettable minus 1,100. This kid, he's hanging out with a Frank Ocean. He's a sussy bull, but that's what I like about him. I like that he's a little sussy bull. Yeah, I mean, I think he just continues to do godlike shit in there. I don't know. I mean, he's fighting a 37-year-old guy, a very finishable guy, a guy who is coming off of a win 9 months ago. But I think Peyton Talbot wins this fight, and I think he wins it big.
Talbot lights you up, B. I'm going with Talbot all the way. I think Talbot will go in there, absolutely destroy Honi Baloney. Dan, what do you think?
I think if this fight was a mere 3 years ago, Honi Baloney would mop the floor with Peyton Talbot, use his big old hair to get the job done. But with the fight being where it is now, Honi Baloney, he's getting up there in age, and I think the age is showing. Unfortunately, he really could have been a contender back in the day if he just played his cards right. I think Peyton Talbot gets this thing done.
Peyton is like he's like what Sean O'Malley could be if Sean O'Malley got the right hit of acid. You know what I mean? Sean is not MK Ultra enough to be where Peyton Talbot is like. I think he's gonna become kind of an Alex Pereira level star at some point.
He's gonna be Alex Pereira in a dress.
Exactly. He's gonna be like what Izzy wanted to be but couldn't be. He's gonna be like an understated, underspoken, but intriguing star very soon, I think. He's already kind of a star, but he's going to crack the mainstream. He's going to be on, like, No Jumper.
Oh, yeah. And he's gonna be on the other one, too. He's going to do one of Datch ones.
Yeah. He's gonna fucking blow out him 22. All right. Zach Reese versus Cedricus Dumas. Cedricus Dumas is coming in out of Pensacola, Florida, 29 years old, 6'2", 79-inch reach against 6'4", 77-inch reach. Zach Reese. Zach Reese beat the ever-living shit out of Jose Medina, if I remember correctly. He was a big favorite. Didn't get the finish, but pretty much dominated the whole fight. Knocked out Julian Marquez. Got knocked out by Cody Brundage, which is just a stain that will never, ever fucking wash off. Same way Joe Solecki got knocked out by Drakkar Lewis in the very next fight. In the very next fight. So pretty crazy that happened, but I think he goes out there and dominates Cedricus Dumas. He's coming in a minus 278 favorite. I consider that right around a generous level, I think. I just think he's going to be way more competent in there.
You're crazy. Cedricus Dumas.
This is the one you had a hot take on. This is the one you wanted to go first for. Sorry.
This is the one I wanted to go first for. Dude, I cannot talk today at all. I have no idea why. Maybe it's the cherry cokes going to the brain, directly to the brain. You guys know I'm dry January.
You're doing dry Jan too?
Of course, dude. Of course. What do I look
I'm
like?
doing dry January. We're 6 days in. 6 days.
I might have skipped one day. But the rest of January, I'll be on the straight and narrow.
I mean, 6 days into a month where we've only had one weekend, it seems like you just drank a normal amount, like for a responsible adult. But I didn't drink all last weekend. I didn't drink New Year's Day. I didn't drink. I went out for drinks with coworkers and didn't drink. You would have thought I fucking spit in their face. Just because I said, no, I'm doing dry January. They were drinking beers. I got a water, and I'm just still talking, engaging. But you would think I spit in their face. So like, you're really not gonna have a beer with us. You're really not gonna have a beer.
It's hard to fly down the straight and narrow.
Someone once said, a great mind once said, if you're not drinking with me, you're drinking against me.
I like that. Oh, I forgot I was still breaking down that fight. I'm going with Cedriscus Dumas. I think Cedriscus Dumas, through him, anything is possible. He is a Pensacola bad boy. He is a real Jack boy. He's going to go in there and he's going to jack Zach Reese up. I mean, you look at these two guys anywhere, you think that Cedriscus Dumas hits him in the head with like a twisted tea or something when they're in line at the gas station. These guys meet anywhere, anytime, anywhere, any place, anywhere. Cedriscus Dumas wins. I'm going Cedriscus Dumas.
I'm taking Mr. Dumas as well. I think even in some of these losses, like he's shown improvement. This guy is a project. He's been growing. And I think Zach Reese
from the projects. Oh, I'm
no.
MMA match stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life.
When you add them multiply, I call it mathematics.
Zach Reese gonna be fighting for his life. I think hype trade on Reese is a little too high here. You know, he wasn't able to get Medina out of there. You know, Medina's got a hell of a chin on him, but either way, I mean, that's a fight that Zach Reese should have, I think, put the kibosh on, and he didn't do it. And I think, again, Dumas, he's making improvements in the grappling, in the striking, and the overall game plan and octagon IQ. I'm going to hit the rising stock here, not the stock that's already reached its apex at the apex this coming Saturday. Sorry, it's not going to be at the apex. It's a main event or a pay-per-view.
No, this is not. Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. Yo, and honestly, like, in the words of the great Chael Sonnen, MMA math is the only science that we have in this sport, and it always works. So Dumas beat Brundage beat Reese. That only means Dumas could win. There's no other option.
I mean, you only need that one part of that equation, okay, where Brundage beat Zach Reese. That's all you need to know.
Luke, are you off the cokes too?
I'm sorry about that joke. I'm a roast. It was a roast stop. I'm a hungry fucking wolf. When you let a hungry wolf, you know, I have sometimes it comes out automatically. You know, it's just like when you have this comedian mind, there's only like 1,000 of us. You know what I mean? And
really 250 that are actually like doing it.
There's really only like 250 of us. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry, we're not murderers.
Any of size.
I'll light you up, B.
Luke, are you off the cokes? Was that a Coca-Cola I saw?
This is pretty much a Coca-Cola. It's a Wegmans black cherry vanilla sparkling seltzer. These are fantastic. It tastes like a Dr. Pepper. You put a little lemon in it.
Nice.
Okay. So cool. Carol Hosa versus Aline Perez. Ooh, round of applause. I'm going with fucking my girl, Aline Perez. I'm trying to find one appropriate thing to say.
Hey, let's go with Grant Dawson. You could bounce a quarter off that ass.
You good? He's got that white boy ass. You know what I mean?
He's
got that locker room snap the towel on him type booty. You know what I mean?
I'm going with Perez as well, Luke. I'm down with the thickness. I gotta go with her. I think that she's got with trunks like that, you're getting anybody to the ground.
Triple P
She
certified.
looked so good in her last fight.
Oh yeah.
And when they get the steam coming
once she got to
the
the goat shed, dude. Once she started hanging out with the Splash Daddy, what's his name? Splash Daddy Sensei.
Splash. When you get the steam coming out of her ears, when you're a reporter and you're not a sub, and you ask her about her OnlyFans, insinuating that it's pornography, she'll tell you right to your face, "My OnlyFans es no pornografía." So, maybe if you subscribed, you would know that reporter, pencil neck nerd reporter who, but she's a mom. She's a respectful lady. I wish Marab never grabbed her booty that one time. That was really fucked up. I didn't like that. I think she's even spoken for, He's like, can I touch it? Can I touch it? She's like, what? That was fucked up what Marab did. But I'm going with Aline Perez. Triple B certified Aline Perez.
Handsy Marab. That's what they call him. Handsy Marab.
Except when he's in the octagon. Then not throwing hands at all.
He was kissing on Sugar, too. He was kissing on that Sugar boy. he said, this boy's sweet.
Next up, we got Johnny Walker versus Anthony Smith. Luke, 2, right? This is the second time they fought.
Yeah, and the first time, Johnny Walker couldn't finish him.
Yeah.
He got spooked in there. Speaking of spooked, you ever see the clip of Anthony Smith and Michael Bisping when Anthony Smith gets nail pushed through?
Oh my god.
Could the name Lionheart be any less appropriate? He got scared by mail.
It's the fucking Wizard of Oz lion, bro. It's
Last time I was scared by mail was during the anthrax crisis of 2022. Sorry, 2002. Fuck that up. Remember that? They're putting anthrax in the mail. Remember that?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a song with Public Enemy, I think.
Yes. Annie, are you okay? No, that's Alien Ant Farm. Both were on Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Yeah, I'm going with Bogdan Guskov. Bogdan Guskov trained with his brother, the better Walker. Johnny Walker is all pissed off because he thinks that Guskov has spies in his camp. I'm going with Bogdan Guskov here. I think Bogdan Guskov's gonna fucking knock Johnny Walker the fuck out.
Johnny Walker's been knocked out so many times, he's moments away from thinking there's spies in his walls like Tony Ferguson did. Okay? He's going to get knocked out again. He's so chinny, I can't picture him winning. Even though he has every physical advantage on every fighter he's ever fought, he stinks, and he's chinny. So give me Guskov.
He's been to every gym. He's been trained by every great coach, and he remembers none of it. He fights with none of the. What's the point of going to so many coaches if every time you ignore their advice and just do what the fuck you want?
He's constantly finding better deals.
He's like, I gotta find out what Faraz Zahabi has to say, and Faraz is like, have you met my pupil George St. Pierre, who never ever puts himself in a bad position and always fights smart? And he's like, yeah. Next, second opinion. How about you, John Kavanaugh? And John Kavanaugh's like, well, have you met Conor McGregor, the king of striking defense? Never gets hit, never been knocked out really, Dustin Poirier, whatever. But it's like, yeah, fuck all that. Yeah. Even when they ran it back against Magomed Ankalaev, right? He ends up getting fucking.
He didn't even know where he was before the fight.
And he got knocked out. Magomed Ankalaev is like the king of having to run shit back and knocking him out again. He fought Ian Gujalaba, did the same shit. The fight knocked him out. Fought Johnny Walker, knocked him out again. Like, Magomed Ankalaev will be the champ in 2025, I believe. Okay, I'm gonna take a future out on that. Okay.
I'm going Johnny Walker. I think you guys are dumb. Guskov stinks. You guys are dumb. And Johnny Walker's going to get the job done. All right? He's been around the world. And I think he is listening to these coaches. Not all the time, but he will for this particular fight. He going to get it done. Johnny Walker.
I thought you were about to do the Frogman speech from American Sniper. You're like, been around the world 3 times, had a beer here, ate a frog there. You ever hear that?
Nah. Seen the movie, don't remember the line.
I'm not a good guy. I'll put a modem inside your car. Take control of it. That's the trans Navy SEAL. Okay. Jalton Almeida. Shout out to Nick Rochford. That's a Nick Rochford classic when he does that impression. I forget the guy's name.
Great guy. Never met him.
All right. Jalton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. Jalton Almeida got finished by Curtis Blades, but then came out and 6 months ago submitted Alexander Romanov, who was cut from the UFC off of a win in his last fight. I love Alexander Romanov. Bring him back. What the fuck? I'm going with Jonathan Almeida here. You know, if Sergey Spivak is a big grappling guy, I think that he's going to kind of meet his match here with a guy who can hang with him in the grappling department, but also slings bricks and can knock him out too. I think that this is kind of nullified on the ground. It comes down to the striking. The better striker is Almeida, the more hardy guy, the more athletic guy, the better shaped guy. Yeah, give me Jonathan Almeida. And I guess a lot of people agree with me. He's a minus 340 favorite. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Jonathan Almeida. Emphatically, I feel like it's kind of the same exact fight that he just had. Sergey Spivak is just, I think he's a worse version of Alexander Romanov. But yeah, I'm going to go with Jonathan Almeida.
I think Almeida is a little bit more well-rounded, and you know, he could wrestle. He could also do the jiu-jitsu game and all that. So I think way more polished, way more well-rounded. Close fight. I think it goes the distance. I think that's the better play is fight, you know, over 2.5, whatever it is. But ultimately, gun to my head, got to pick a fighter, going Jonathan Almeida.
All right. Next, we had Rinya Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. 9-0, Rinya Nakamura out of Japan. Maybe the best fighter out of Japan right now. He is undefeated. He has 3 UFC wins. I think I've picked him in every single one of these fights. Taking on Muin Gafurov, who beat Kung Ho Kang 5 months ago. And before that, lost to Said Nurmagomedov by guillotine choke early, shot right into it. Really disappointing fight. Before that, lost to John Castaneda. Very close fight. Could have kind of been a draw. Could have even went his way. What do you guys think about this one?
I think Rinya Nakamura is going to fuck him up, dude. He was a wrestler on the world stage. You guys know how I feel about these wrestlers. If he goes in there and utilizes his wrestling, he will win. I think he will, and he would do quite a number on Muin Gafurov. Rinya Nakamura for me.
I'm going to bet on Rinya Nakamura until the tires fall off, until he loses. This guy's the real deal. Like Luke said, we were talking to Joe. It's like, I want to bet on the guy that's going to be winning every single minute, dictating where the fight goes. And that's the epitome of this guy, Rinya Nakamura. So give me the future champ out of Japan.
Muin Gafurov by knockout.
No fucking way.
I really believe in Muin Gafurov. I like him. I like his style. He's fucking all gas, no brakes. I think he is going to defend the takedowns. I think he's going to turn this into a striking match. I think he's going to piece Rinya Nakamura up, surprise him, give him his first loss. Muin Gafurov by knockout. Very confident in this. At plus 300, I will be betting Muin Gafurov money line, and I'll be betting Muin Gafurov by knockout. Now, if they try to hit me with, Muin Gafurov plus 300, Muin Gafurov by knockout plus 350, I'm going to literally drive to the sports book, and the first employee I see, I'm spitting in their fucking face. All right. So,
that's assault, so might want to rethink that.
Man, it would be so funny as a fucking joke in parody law, 100%. If I was like, I'm gonna go Luigi Mangione on the CEO, you know what I mean? Like, it would be so funny, but I can't say that, you know what I mean? But that would be hilarious.
You just did.
No, I didn't. It would be funny. It was a joke. I was like, it's a joke, and it would be funny if
when you look into it.
Like, the funny joke would be, and you can't say this, but it would be funny to say, you know, I'm not going to say it. You guys
Gotta put two and two together. All right.
Beneil Dariush, Renato Moicano. Beneil Dariush coming up back. We just talked about this, guys. Beneil Dariush doesn't even know where he is anymore. Doesn't even know what he wants to do with his career anymore. Is completely fucking ugats. He really should be looking at this like, damn, I'm coming off back-to-back finished losses by knockout, haven't fought in a year, and I'm still ranked in the top fucking 10. What the fuck? I have a golden opportunity here to get myself a title shot anyway. I could beat Renato Moicano and slip right into fucking Michael Chandler and then back to fucking Oliveira and back to fucking Arman and Islam, right? Like in his mind, that's where he should be at. He's not. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know which way's up. He's spiraling out of control, spiraling downward. Money Moicano by finish. Holy shit, did he look good against Benoit Saint-Denis? Come in there as a giant underdog, stomps him out in the first round or second round technically, but never ever made it look the slightest bit competitive. Anybody who says Benoit Saint-Denis won the second round, they're high off their ass. Maybe it doesn't matter. Moicano was in complete control of the fight the whole time. He was chilling. He was dictating everything. Renato Moicano is my pick. He's only a minus 230 favorite. I think he should be Peyton Talbot level against Benny Dariush at this point. Moicano with the wrestling, Moicano with the ground and pound, Moicano to smash Benny.
Yes, give me Moicano as well. Moicano, I will give you money for Gilbert Burns' phone number. I would love to put it out there and just, have his phone get blown up for a day after what he did to Chael. Renato Moicano all the way. As long as he can get it to the ground, and I think he will be able to because he's got a different style of grappling than most people Beneil Dariush has faced, apart from Charles Oliveira. I think that Renato Moicano has a Charles Oliveira style of grappling, and that will be enough to take out Benny. Dan, what do you think?
Moicano is, too young, too with it, too hip for Benny D. I love the social messaging that Dariush will often put out there. But that being said, I can't bet on this man. He's got the salt and pepper hair. And it's a little bit more salt than it is pepper these days. So we got to go with Moicano just based on the intangibles of the fight and the realities that they pose.
Yeah, almost the same age to the day, just to let you know. But anyway.
Well, sometimes
but he's hip.
Wear it a little bit different, and Benny's not wearing it as well as Renato, and that's all there is. And we're really going to trust the the age that's put out there. I would bet that Renato is like 3 years younger than he says he is, just for the strategic advantage.
Yeah. Okay. Kevin Holland versus Renier de Ridder. Renier de Ridder going in against GM3, kind of a barrel of monkeys in that fight, man. It was a bit of a what am I trying to say here? Like a car that you're riding, you're like, oh, I don't know if we're gonna make it. You made it. You know what I mean? But holy shit, did it not look good for a lot of moments in that fight. I did have a prop on Renier de Ridder by submission in that fight. He did get it with just like round 3, very little time left. I think Renier de Ridder, Kevin Holland to me is in his pin me pay me phase of his career. Like the wrestlers of old, pin me pay me. I don't give a fuck. I want to probably fight lower in the rankings. I think Kevin Holland, probably wasn't training. He fought less than 3 months ago. Rib injuries take a long time to heal. How much training you think he got done in the last 3 months with a month off from the rib injury? I'm counting 2 months. And I'm going with Renier de Ridder. Renier de Ridder by decision.
Kevin Holland is overpaid, undermotivated, and lazier than all get out. I wasn't very impressed with Renier de Ridder's last performance, but I haven't been impressed with Kevin Holland in the last 3 years. Not in the slightest. His last win in his only win he has in his last 4 fights, he got rocked in the first second, and the guy didn't tap, and the ref called the fight. Didn't break his arm. Ref called the fight. The only win he has is very fugazi, as Dan would say. I'm going with de Ridder here by submission. I agree with Luke. I think that Kevin Holland is lazy. I think that he just wants to get in there, make his money, and get out. Give me Renier de Ridder. The Dutch Knight.
De Ridder, one of the best business professors I ever had in college. And I think with that even being said, a great fighter as well, Renier DeRitter. Up on the main card in his second UFC fight. A little bit of a setup job, I think, to get this guy boosted. Kevin Holland has unfortunately found himself at the gatekeeper perspective as far as the UFC is concerned. And, I think DeRitter will use his he's got all the tools. So I think that the wrestling definitely comes into play in any Kevin Holland fight. He'll mix that in, get some opportunistic striking in as well, and ultimately win this thing probably on the judges' scorecards. So it can be a DeRitter by decision.
Kevin Holland cost me a great deal of money when he quit on his stool against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I won it all back when he quit on his stool against Raymond Doladeze. Blood in, blood out. Paid in blood, paid in full. And Kevin Holland, you got to ask yourself, when the going gets tough, when the going got tough for Renier DeRitter, he's submitted GM3, who has more submission wins than anybody in the third round. When the going gets tough for Kevin Holland, he quits on the stool. So I don't care how this might be a better live betting situation because you got Renier DeRitter as a plus 124 underdog. So yeah, you can get him plus 124. Kevin Holland might win the first round. Kevin Holland might look good going in the second round. But I think when the heat gets turned up, eventually DeRitter is going to be continuing to come at him. He's going to be fucking just there in it and looking for a finish the whole time. And I think eventually Kevin Holland finds the door. So I did say by decision, but I kind of think now, maybe Kevin Holland could win the first round big. Renier DeRitter wins the next two, and then he wins a decision, or Renier DeRitter just submits him outright. So it could go a lot of ways, but I think just 124 Renier DeRitter, good little sneaky underdog shot. I'll take it. Man, this card is so stacked, dude. This card is going to be such a fucking breath of fresh air. Yuri Prohaska versus Jamal Hill. What a fight. A fight that should have been for the title, is now not for the title, but is definitely, the next couple of best guys in the division out here taking that, I'd rather see this fight than Roundtree versus Pereira, to be honest with you. To me, this is more of a title fight. Got two champions going at it, but it's not for the belt. It's 3 rounds.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that definitely favors Jamal Hill.
Because he's fat, right?
No, I think it favors Jamal Hill.
Because he's fat.
You got to remember, Yuri fought from behind against Glover and got that choke,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Yuri here, man. I don't see how. I mean, I have a ton of respect for Yuri, and I even picked him against Pereira.
Twice.
And I was more surprised the second time than the first time. I mean, he got really dealt bad in that second fight. As Jamal Hill says, you got done bad. Ponytail all lopsided and shit.
The king of cope, Jamal Hill.
I love it though. I like that Jamal Hill. I would rather guys be like Jamal Hill than Ian Gary. You know what I mean? In terms of losing a fight and being like, nah, fuck.
Boy, won that.
Yeah. So I'm taking Yuri. I liked it better when he was an underdog. It's kind of moved to a just straight pick 'em now, but I'm gonna take Yuri. I think that he is going to be extremely motivated. I think he's gotten out of the shed. He's gotten out of the hitting trees shit, and he's in the gym working on fundamentals. Now, will that take a little bit of the potency off of him? It's kind of like the old saying, well, which note should I play? If you start taking away things that make the guy really special, you're left with a song that is not the one that he's been playing this whole time. I hope we just get a vintage fucking Yuri. He just goes out there like he did in the Dominic Reyes fight. Good eyes, good head movement, take one to give two, and throw some spinning wacky shit out there and just give Jamal Hill a really unorthodox style, because Jamal Hill is a very traditional style of fighter. He's going to go out there and hit you with ones and twos. He's not going to throw very many kicks. He's going to just kind of just box you. You know what I mean? And so I think from Yuri, we need to see none of that staying out at range, kind of throwing those teep kicks. I don't want to see teep kicks. I want to see stalking, head movement, Dominic Cruz style left and right movement, and just backing him into that fence and unleashing fucking hell. Don't stand at range with Jamal Hill. Back him up into that fence and create chaos, and you'll get that. You'll find the knockout, I think. And yeah, I'm taking my boy Yuri Prochazka.
I've never seen Luke pick against Yuri Prochazka. I don't know if I ever will. And, I have a hard time picking against Jamal Hill in this one, but I'm going with Yuri Prochazka as well. I think Yuri Prochazka is a bit of a marauder, a murderer, some would say. He's going to push forward, walk through everything Jamal Hill has to offer. The only thing Yuri Prochazka has struggled with besides Alex Pierre's, left hand is leg kicks against homeboy. What's that guy's name? Alex Rakic. That was like the thing that he struggled with the most, that fight, leg kicks. Jamal Hill's not going to be throwing anything too crazy. Like Luke said, he's mainly a boxer. He's going to be throwing the 1. He's going to be throwing the 2. He's going to be throwing the 3. Maybe even throwing the 4. But that's not going to be dynamic enough to deal with Yuri Prochazka. Yuri Prochazka emphatically. Daniel.
Liking me some Jamal Hill here. Prochazka just a little too crazy, a little too loose. I think he will be out there. What is this? What play is this?
No, that was a win Alex had.
Oh, sweet.
But it said Alex win Yuri, so I was just clicking on it to see, what did Alex win when Yuri fought? He won with Glover. Yeah. Anyway,
disrespected my boy.
That was way back in the day. But yeah, I like the fact that Jamal Hill wins fights just based on 1s and 2s. Easy peasy, 1s and 2s. And that's all he has to focus on, just like getting that done. And Prochazka, he's going to go, all right, do I throw a spinning elbow? Do I do a flying knee? What am I doing here? Whereas Jamal Hill, I'm just keeping it simple, baby. And then, as far as defensively, if you're really locked in, it's pretty easy to see someone loading up a spinning elbow or, that crazy spinning stuff. The good fighters, they can read that a mile away. I put Jamal Hill in that book, especially coming from that boxing background. A boxer's not going to get caught with anything spinning. Okay, that's just right up their wheelhouse. So stylistically,
no, it's not. You're not allowed to do that in boxing. You're not allowed to spin in boxing, man. So what about that is in their wheelhouse?
Because you're just fucking locked in. You're staring up at the hands. You're looking at the elbows. You're looking at everything. You're reading that jab. And, if you could read a good jab, a quick jab, that's a lot harder to read than a spinning elbow where you got to go all the way across your body. It just is. Okay, just trust me here. Okay, Alex? We're going to go with Jamal Hill. He's going to get this thing done.
Dan, if you only knew, you said Yuri's going to be thinking about everything that he could throw. If you only knew that the way of the samurai is to, be like water to just do as is and flow as goes, then you would understand why you're all wrong, all off base there.
You should win more fights and you'd be more like water, I guess. I don't know.
Next, we got Merab Dvalishvili versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Georgian, 18-4.
I'm going with Umar. I'll be the first to go. I'm going with Umar Nurmagomedov. I think that if this fight is even relatively close, the judges are going to give it to Umar regardless. So the name pulls 4 points. The beard pulls 2. You carry the 1. He's winning this fight regardless. Give me Umar Nurmagomedov. And I don't like Merab for what he did to Alain Perez. And they shouldn't even be allowed in the same room after that. And now Alain has to be on the same card as him.
Merab is certainly emotional going into this fight. He's certainly mad. He's mad he even has to do this fight. He feels like his journey to the title was a lot harder, and Umar is kind of getting served.
Oh, why was it harder, Merab? Why was it harder? Because you refused to fight your best friend for the title when they wanted you to, you fucking dumbass? Was that why it was so hard for you to get to the title?
Yeah, exactly. That's my thinking too. And, it's not like he took Sugar Sean down at will. There were some rounds that remained on the feet for a lot of it, so much so that Herb Dean had to encourage them in the later rounds to even engage with each other. I think that Merab has a lot of movement, but I think that he's going to have even more. He's going to have the hardest time ever taking Umar down. And I think that Umar, people forget that Umar has, people forget, man.
People forget, man.
Umar has those fucking katana-like kicks. I mean, he when he knocked out Brian Kelleher, or he submitted him, but he fucking scalped him with a fucking head kick. He's got amazing kicks. I think he's going to blast Merab with kicks. I think he's going to be outpointing him on the strikes. I think the fight probably goes the distance, but Corey Sandhagen got a lot of props for being able to like defend against a lot of Umar's takedowns, but Umar still won pretty much every round. I'm going to go with Umar. I think that
And Merab doesn't do anything like super impressive. He weaponizes pace. And if you're not like a stoner in Arizona, like that doesn't really matter. Like if you're just also another Russian guy, the weaponization of pace isn't really going to work. Yeah, it worked for Sugar Sean, who damages his lungs every single day of his life. But Umar Nurmagomedov is not doing that. The worst he's doing is getting in the jacuzzi with the boys. But, his lungs are perfectly fine. The weaponization of pace won't affect him at all. Dan.
Oh, man. Umar should win this thing quite handily. I do not see any path to victory for Merab. I don't see him taking him down, and I certainly don't see him striking with him. So
who's the favorite?
It's got to be
Umar minus 300.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, I think that's actually pretty generous. Minus 300. I mean, listen, everyone bet responsibly, but holy cow. I do not see any which way that Merab wins the fight. So this is the toss-up. Toss-up, or not toss-up. This is the softball of this fight card, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Next up, we got the main event, Makhachev versus Tsarukyan. I'm going with Makhachev for the same reason. Fear the beard. If it's close, if it's even close, it's going to Islam regardless. I think it's obvious. The fix is in. These guys have some vested interests going on here. The judges love these guys. They love their look. They love their style. If they see an American wrestling, it's like the Drake meme. Ooh, American wrestling. Ooh, Dagestani's wrestling. Drake, Hotline Bling. If you've ever heard the song, give me Islam Makhachev emphatically. I'm sure he's a minus 700 favorite, but I don't know. Their first fight was pretty close. I just think Islam is a different guy now.
Minus 400.
Not bad. Not bad. You parlay those guys together, you might get minus 150 odds.
I'm gonna go with Arman Tsarukyan, and hear me out. He said something interesting in this one. He said, if Islam loses this fight, it's everything to him. It's everything to him. He says, I'm doing this for fun. Now, at first glance, that makes me go, yeah, like I'm gonna pick Islam. Like you're right. You're right about that. Like this is his whole life. It's his whole existence. It's everything. Like, he has no expectation of losing in his mind. But what do we talk about with Joe? The element of surprise. Finding yourself in a fight harder than you thought it was going to be. I think back to that fight that Arman had with Beneil Dariush, where he just looked absolutely unfucking beatable. Absolutely just fucking melted Beneil Dariush with a tricky combination. Then I think about some of the exchanges Islam's been in, right? With Dustin Poirier, with Volkanovski in the first fight. I kind of feel like Islam's had an easy road. I mean, he fought Volk twice in a row and Dustin Poirier. Over the last 2 years, even the Oliveira fight, he got an Oliveira that wasn't really Oliveira on that night. He dropped him. He choked him out. I mean, that was a very weird outcome. And before that, Bobby Green. So over the last 3 years, he fought a featherweight twice, Bobby Green, Charles Oliveira in a very short fight, and Dustin Poirier in a scrap. in a fight that he almost didn't get a finish in. I think Arman is going to surprise a lot of people. I think he's got a lot of stopping power. He's way better. I think he's way better on the feet. And I think that Islam's not going to be able to get him down easily, at least. And I think that the longer this fight stays on the feet, the more the odds are going to narrow. And I think eventually Arman drops him. I mean, Volk dropped Islam, you know. And let me ask you this. How do you think Volk does against Arman?
Gets destroyed.
I think Volk gets fucking destroyed by Arman Tsarukyan. So I think
you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I think Arman Tsarukyan fucks Volk up.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is just kind of a gut feeling. This is kind of just like in my mind's eye, I just kind of see something surprising happening. And I'm trying to think of what that could be on this card. I mean, I picked a lot of underdogs here. I picked, I think, who was an underdog I picked? Clayton Carpenter, pretty big dog. I think that might be, Gaffarov, pretty big dog. DeRitter, slight dog. 14 fights, he'll be my fourth underdog. Ask yourself this, how many people are going to go, it's simple, Umar Nurmagomedov, Islam Makhachev. They both are training with Khabib. They're, 44-1 combined record. I don't know. I just think
I'll tell you, I'm one. That's minus 150. That's great odds. You parlay Makhachev, Nurmagomedov, Clayton Carpenter, and Nakamura. That's plus 557. We're cooking a stew, baby.
Nakamura is going to lose, dude. Don't do that.
No, right, dude.
You're crazy, dude.
So you're telling me if I parlay Makhachev, if I do the most keep it fucking simple, stupid parlay of the decade,
minus 154. It's Makhachev, Nurmagomedov. If you put Leighton Carpenter on there, you're getting some good odds too.
Well, he's a huge underdog.
250.
If I go Islam Makhachev and Umar Nurmagomedov parlayed minus 160 on FanDuel. That's crazy.
Better odds on DraftKings right now, but minus 154.
That's crazy. For a two-fight parlay where they have one loss combined and they both are, just seemingly like
unstoppable.
Yeah, that's crazy. That seems like,
and if you went decision on both of those, boom. You're going to Sizzler, baby.
But I mean, $1,600, $800 for $500, $1,600 for $1,000. It seems a little too fucking easy.
Then do it. I think it happens.
I'm sticking with Arman.
You're a born loser. You'll never win. You'll never win anything.
We'll see. We'll see who gets the last laugh.
All right. Well, that's all. UFC 311. Let's run through the picks, boys.
Hold on. I didn't know that you even picked for this last one. I'm going with Arman Tsarukyan. I'm with Luke.
Oh.
I'm taking the young gun. All right. He did very well in the first fight. I think he does even better in this one. If you guys really don't want to, pick either side, I think it's definitely a decision. That's the only thing that scares me off. It's a hairy decision where, whatever. The powers that be, they want the champion to reign, something like that. The closer connection with Khabib, whatever it is. That's the only thing that scares me off. But in a actual, legit, who won the fight, I'm going with Arman. But I am wary of...
Does that make you feel better? Hearing this guy?
Listen, I'm a new man. I'm changing up my gambling style. All right? And let's not forget, I am the picks leader. So say whatever you want about my gambling tendencies. That's all justified, and I understand that. You know, the numbers speak for themselves here, obviously. But the pick numbers, those also speak for themselves. I believe I'm still top dog at that. So
What are you basing that on?
the last time that we calculated picks, okay, percentage of picks won, at that point in time, which wasn't too far back, only a couple months, I was top dog. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, fair. I thought I didn't even know we tracked that anymore. I've been shooting from the hip on a lot of these.
All right. Well, listen. Here's your 10-fight parlay. Okay.
Oh.
Clayton Carpenter plus 215. Win Gaffroff plus 285. Aline Perez plus 162.
The shit is dead 3 times in a row.
Clayton Carpenter is Triple P certified. He can't say 3 times in a row.
But even if, like,
So is Aline
Clayton
Perez.
Carpenter's the first fight of the night. Like,
Yeah, I have more underdogs than I thought because I have Carpenter, Gaffarov, Perez, DeRitter, Tsarukyan. So I have 5 underdogs.
DeRitter's a underdog?
Plus 124.
hell yeah, dude. People love Kevin Holland. He sucks. Newsflash.
That's crazy.
I think GM3 beats Kevin Holland right now. I think if you match up GM3 with Kevin Holland, he wins.
I have very little bullets in the gun. Which reminds me, StreamYard is now $50 a month. I've been paying it for like the whole year. Can I get like fucking some scratch from you guys?
No, yeah, I'm not letting you hold anything.
No.
Where's the Patreon money?
I'll forgive everything I've paid over the last year. Just give me like $50 each. So I can
Let me hold it. Let me hold
It wasn't in
$50.
my January budget, but I'll put it in the budget for February.
Did you lose it on my field goal bet? If it's
Dude,
because of my
Alex, I'm not gonna lie to you. I bet $100 on that field goal bet.
oh no.
I think you should give me 100.
You know what's worse? You know what's worse? The guy on the other team was hitting field goals like crazy. They were kicking the ball through the uprights. You just picked the other guy, you would have won that 3 times in a row. But damn, I was so off. Dan, during the Steelers game, I said, this Boswell cat, he's gonna get 3 field goals.
Who even knows who Boswell is, dude? Like,
He's a good kicker. He's a good kicker.
I was like
Steelers,
Boswell's.
right? Steelers?
Yeah, I was like, Boswell's getting 3 tonight, and it was over 1.5. I said, if I had $1,000, I would bet it right now. I was like, there's never been a bigger lock ever. I didn't even bet it. And Luke did.
Then let me 50. Give me 50. Come on.
I might let you hold 50, but I have to think about it.
Let me hold 100, and I'll pay you back 50.
Let me hold. I don't have 100 in my name.
I
got minus 25. Don't you see?
I gotta hold something.
I'll figure it out. We'll take this offline.
You got 1 hour. All right. So my picks, top to bottom. I'm going with Clayton Carpenter, Bernardo Sopage, Win Gaffarov, Aline Perez, Grant Dawson, Zach Reese, Jalton Almeida, Peyton Talbot, Bogdan Guskov, Rainier DeRitter, Jiri Praska, Hinato Makano, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Arman Tsarukyan. Those are my 14 picks, bottom to top.
All right, if you're rolling with me, you've got Islam Makhachev, Umar Nurmagomedov, Yuri Prohashka, Rene DeRitter, Hanato Moicano, Rinya Nakamura, Jalton Almeida, Bogdan Guskov, Elaine Perez, Cedriskis Dumas. Cedriskis Dumas is my lock of the night. Peyton Talbot, Ricky Tercios, Grant Dawson, and Clayton Carpenter.
All right, here are the official results of UFC 311 2 weeks in advance. You have Clayton Carpenter, Grant Dawson, Ricky Tercios, Peyton Talbot, Cedric Dumas, Eileen Perez, Johnny Walker, Halton Almeida, Rinya Nakamura, Hanato Moicano, Rainier DeRitter, Jamal Hill, Umar Nurmagomedov, and Arman Tsarukyan.
Umar Nurmagomedov.
All right, and that means the Triple B certified picks are Clayton Carpenter, Grant Dawson. Alex, did you pick Tercios or Sabash? You picked Tercios.
I picked Tercios, but I don't love it. In fact, I hate it. But I don't love either pick in that one. You know?
I mean, your underdogs look a lot worse in terms of who you guys picked for underdogs. Like Dan picked Johnny Walker and Johnny Walker, Ricky Tercios, and Cedric Dumas. Those are who you guys are putting your fucking think about that.
I don't have Johnny Walker, but I think Cedric Dumas is the lock of the night. That's my MMA lock of the night, sponsored by MMA lock of the night.
Like the only guy that I'm trusting as a fucking underdog that we trophy certified is, I'm sorry.
I really thought Umar Nurmagomedov was going to be an underdog. What was I thinking?
All right, so trophy certified picks are going to be Umar Nurmagomedov, Renato Moicano, Johnson Almeida, Aline Perez, Peyton Talbot, Grant Dawson, and Clayton Carpenter.
Dan, you have Kevin Holland?
No.
Oh, sorry. And Renier de Ritter. So 2 underdogs.
And Aline Perez.
Yeah, 3 underdogs. So Umar Nurmagomedov, Renier de Ritter, Renato Moicano, Johnson Almeida, Elaine Perez, Peyton Talbot, Grant Dawson, Clayton Carpenter. So 3 underdogs are trophy certified. Renier de Ritter, Aline Perez, and Clayton Carpenter. And the only other underdogs I'm picking are Muin Gaffarov and fucking Arman Tsarukyan. So that I mean,
both idiotic picks. Neither of them are going to come close to winning.
You're crazy.
You're crazy. You've got an Olympic wrestler versus Muin Gaffarov, who got fucking guillotined in the first round. Nobody loses via guillotine. And then you got Arman Tsarukyan, who's on podcast talking about how he rented a nicer car than Dana White. Okay, get out of here.
All right. Well,
Islam Makhachev doesn't even have a car.
Thank you guys for joining the show. Please give Joe Solecki some love this weekend. She'll be and we're gonna
also harass what's his name? College style harassment. Nothing too bad.
The whole country of Tajikistan do a light college style harassment to the entire country of Tajikistan.
Perfect.
We love you guys. Thanks for joining.
This is a late night, boys. I'm sorry. It's sleepy time.
It's late. It's late here on the East Coast. I had a full day shoveling snow, sledding, building snowmen, full day. So we're gonna get some sleep. We're gonna load up for this weekend, and we're gonna build back better. Oh, I don't need some money to gamble with this weekend. I'm keeping this weekend very light, and I'm striking hard on UFC 311. So.
Yeah. You got to relax this weekend. This is a weekend.
I'll put the first bet on Joe Solecki. If he wins, we'll have something to play with. If he loses, I'm done for the whole day.
Okay.
Something like that. I highly
all right.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. Go watch the episode behind this one if you want to see our in-depth picks for UFC Fight Night at the fucking Apex. We love you, and thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the Discord this weekend for sure.
Oh, yeah. Be there or be square.
Be there. Be in the Discord this weekend. We'll be there. Also, go to the Patreon. I fucking really need some money, guys. Please sign up for the Patreon. Get access to the open bet sheet. You'll see what I'm betting this weekend. Get in that Patreon.